For hundreds of thousands of years, human history was a slow, quiet crawl. Our ancestors lived in small, scattered bands, their world defined by the hunt, the harvest, and the horizon. Imagine a planet without a single city, without the written word to pass down knowledge, without the wheel to carry burdens, or even a way to measure the passing of time beyond the sun and moon. This was the state of humanity for nearly its entire existence. Then, in the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, something extraordinary happened. In what feels like a geological instant, a civilization erupted from the desert soil, seemingly fully formed. Between roughly 4500 and 1900 BCE, these people didn't just invent one thing, they appeared to invent all den sen quam, ongen dir disperimine. And they built the world's first true cities, like the sprawling metropolis of Uruk, home to tens of thousands. They established complex governments, organized labor, and codified laws. They developed a sophisticated system of writing, cuneiform, that allowed them to record history, literature, and commerce for the first time. They called themselves the Sag-Giga, the black-headed people. Today we know them as the Sumerians. Their arrival marks a fundamental turning point, the line between prehistory and history itself. But this sudden leap forward is also the source of a profound and enduring puzzle. Here's the kicker. Despite decades of research, linguists can't connect the Sumerian language to any other known language family on Earth. It is a true isolate, a linguistic ghost, and historians are still locked in debate about where these people actually came from. Did they migrate from some unknown land, bringing their culture with them? Or did they develop right there in the Mesopotamian marshes, their origins obscured by the silt of millennia? The Sumerians laid the foundation for the modern world, yet their own foundation is a mystery. Today, we're decoding the evidence to explore the origins of the world's first and most enigmatic advanced civilization. Long before the first stone was laid for the pyramids of Giza, the Sumerians were grappling with a very modern problem: urban management. Their city of Uruk was a sprawling metropolis, home to some 50,000 people. How do you feed, organize, and govern a population of that size in the 4th millennium BCE? You don't just invent tools, you have to invent systems. This leap from simple invention to complex integrated systems is the true mark of Sumerian genius. It began with administration. To track goods, they first used small clay tokens, a cone for a measure of grain, a disc for a sheep. These were sealed in clay envelopes called bullae to create tamper-proof records. Soon a realization dawned: why seal the tokens inside when you can just impress their shapes on the outside? This was the critical step. The envelope was flattened into a tablet, and the impressions evolved from simple pictures into cuneiform, the world's first true written language, capable of recording not just goods, but laws, stories, and ideas. To secure this new economy, they created the cylinder seal. Each person of standing had a unique stone-carved cylinder that, when rolled across wet clay, acted as an unforgeable signature, authenticating documents and securing property. Their systems reshaped the very land itself. They engineered vast networks of irrigation canals, turning arid plains into the world's first agricultural breadbasket. They invented the sailboat to navigate the Tigris and Euphrates, revolutionizing trade. And yes, they invented the wheel. But it wasn't just for transport. The potter's wheel allowed for mass-produced ceramics. And the cart's wheel, mounted on an axle, enabled them to haul the massive surpluses their farms produced. Even their way of thinking was systematic. They developed a base 60 mathematical system, which we still use every day. The 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and the 360 degrees in a circle are all direct echoes of Sumerian mathematics, and perhaps most profoundly, they systematized justice. Long before the famous Code of Hammurabi, the Sumerian Code of Ur-Nammu laid down laws, prescribed fines for offenses, and established the principle that society should be governed by written rules, not the whims of the powerful. From accounting to agriculture, from the wheel to the written law, the Sumerians didn't just build a city, they built the blueprint for civilization itself. This is what historians call the Sumerian problem. Most civilizations evolve slowly from local cultures, but the Sumerian language is a language isolate. It's not Semitic like Akkadian, and it's not Indo-European. It's a linguistic island. Some theories suggest they migrated from the Caucasus Mountains. Others say they arrived by sea from the Indus Valley. They seemingly stepped into southern Iraq and hit the fast-forward button on human evolution. Why? To understand the explosive rise of Sumerian civilization, we have to look not just at what they built, but at what they believed. For the Sumerians, myth and reality were not separate domains. Their cosmology was their science, their history, and their political charter, all rolled into one. It was the foundational software running their entire society, and at its core was a pantheon of powerful, awe-inspiring deities. The Sumerians claimed their vast knowledge wasn't entirely their own. It was a gift, handed down by the Anunnaki. The name itself is evocative, often translated as, those who from heaven to earth came. This pantheon wasn't distant or abstract. The texts describe them as a council of gods, led by figures like Anu, the god of the heavens, Enlil, the powerful god of wind and storms, and Enki, the clever god of water, knowledge, and creation. These weren't just allegories, they were the divine architects and governors of the universe. Now, it's impossible to discuss the Anunnaki without acknowledging the modern theories that frame them as extraterrestrial visitors. While these ideas have captured the popular imagination, the actual Sumerian texts paint a picture that is in its own way just as haunting and far more complex. The Sumerians described their gods as physical beings who established the very order of the world. They lived in the great temples that dominated each city, which were seen as their literal earthly estates. The human rulers, the Ensi or Lugal, were not divine themselves, but acted as stewards, managing the gods' property on their behalf. In exchange for humanity's service and labor, the gods provided the Me, a set of over 100 divine decrees that were the fundamental principles of civilization itself. These included everything from kingship and law to writing, metalworking, and even beer brewing. This leaves us with a profound question. Were these stories simply powerful metaphors for the unpredictable forces of nature, the storm, the flood, the fertile earth? Or could they be the distorted mythologized memory of real historical events? Perhaps a record of a ruling class of priest kings, a lost pre-flood elite whose knowledge seemed so advanced to their successors that it could only be described as divine. The answer remains buried, somewhere between the lines of cuneiform. Then there's the Sumerian king list. It's a stone tablet that lists kings who supposedly ruled for tens of thousands of years. But then, it mentions a great flood that swept over the land. After the flood, the reigns of the kings suddenly become much shorter, matching historical reality. Archaeology does show a massive silt deposit in Iraq dating back roughly 5,000 years. Did the Sumerians survive a global cataclysm that erased their actual origin story? The Sumerians eventually vanished, absorbed by the Babylonians and Persians. Their language died out as a spoken tongue nearly 4,000 years ago, but they never truly left us. Every time you look at a clock, check your horoscope, or use a plow to grow food, you are using Sumerian tech. We are living in the world they built. The biggest mystery isn't just where they went, it's how they knew so much, so soon. If you want to see a deep dive into the actual translation of the Enuma Elish, the Sumerian creation myth, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to keep unearthing the past. I'll see you in the next one.